Natarus, a couple of issues.
Everybody can say that. I have not received from anybody a contribution of $7,000. Not one of my contributions is that high. Secondly, I never sought the endorsement of SEIU. I never asked for it, and I never sought it. And I want to tell you why. SEIU and Local 1 I'm on the Plan Commission. They come into the Plan Commission and they say, we shouldn't approve a building until after we solve the union dispute or the union contract. That's a secondary boycott. I would never approve that. And they are against me because from the very, very beginning, I supported Mayor Daley against the big box ordinance because I happen to believe that if you're going to have a living wage increase, it has to be statewide or national.
So you never gave any commitment to the union that you would not support it?
I never gave a commitment to Balanoff.
Did you give one to the Chicago Federation of Labor?
Absolutely not. Dennis Gannon? Absolutely not. Never gave him that. I don't know where you got that idea.
That's where I got it from.
Well, that's not true.
Let's talk about contributions in general, though. You say you're not taking any contributions from developers.
No.
So why not say you're not going to take any contributions from labor as well? I mean, what's the reason for that? And if you're going to have a cap, there's a cap apparently. Alderman Natarus has a cap on developers, but you don't have a cap on.
The city has.
The city has a cap on developers, but there isn't one on unions. So what makes sense in terms of contributions to aldermanic campaigns and limits?
Sure. Well, I'm glad you asked that question. I would argue that when it comes to development, all of our quality of life issues in downtown Chicago stem from development. Once you put up a high-rise in a community, you're not going to be taking it down. And I think that you need to have as much objectivity and transparency in that process as possible. As far as capping contributions, I'm sitting next to an alderman who's been a prolific fundraiser. I would argue he's likely going to outspend me 2 or 3 to 1 in this election. So for us to be talking about caps suddenly, I think is convenient for the alderman. But I think developer money is different. We all have to bear the consequences once a development's approved. And I think by removing it from the process, we send a clear message to the residents that we're seeking to represent that won't cloud judgment when each plan development is being evaluated.
All right, and Alderman Natarus, you think there's a cap and that's enough?
First of all, several years ago I put if you want to know what I think on all levels of government would be the greatest thing in terms of handling campaigns is we should put a cap on spending. The president should have
an ordinance like that?
I did. I think it was $3 million for the mayor, and I think it was $150,000 for the alderman.
And both of you are probably going to spend considerably more than that in this race.
It never went anywhere because the news media is against it. The press is against it. Magazines are against it. The printers are against it. Why? It prevents them from making money. Now, the point of the matter is, what's really wrong with developers? There's nothing wrong with developers. Many of the developers live in our ward. They're building the city. There has to be some place where we build the high-rises, where we have an economic engine, where we have a tax base that supports the rest of the city. Everybody that comes to Chicago is amazed at Chicago's architecture.
And let me just, for the last question, they also come, and when they see all this development, we're also confronted, everybody that goes down the loop, with traffic, with congestion, with parking problems. Give me just a quick answer to that problem from both of you.
That's the way it is all over the city. Talk to Schaumburg. Talk to Al Larson up there.
So is there any new suggestion you'd have to deal with those problems in your ward?
The suggestions are, number one, we have to get the legislature and the national government to get off this highway kick of giving all of the money to building highways, and we have to go to transit. I have advocated for a long time. When Speaker Madigan appointed me to the Northeastern Commission to revise NIPSI, we suggested that we should use the railroad tracks.
All right, we're going to have to stop you right there. And what's your quick answer to parking, traffic congestion downtown?
Absolutely. I think we do need to reinvest in the CTA, and certainly I think we need to take a fix-it-first approach. There's a lot of talk about expanding service. I think we need to do a better job of getting our current
All right, well,
infrastructure
there's one
upgraded.
issue you both agree on. Public transit is the answer. All right. Thanks so much. I'm
God
sure we'll be
bless.
seeing more of you.
Take care of
Thanks to
yourself.
Burt Natarus and Brandon Reilly. Chicago Tonight continues in a moment, so don't go away.